Well everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and take a look at the iPad Air 5 and see how this device holds up in the later part of 2022. Now this iPad originally came out earlier this year, and I will tell you it was actually probably a really big difference coming from its predecessor, and it has really fleshed out the iPad Air lineup, I would say, for the next few years. Now, I don't think we're going to be seeing a successor of the iPad Air 5 probably for another 2 years, maybe like another year and a half. So I don't think we're going to be getting one next year at all. But I do believe in 2024, we're probably going to end up getting another iPad Air, which is going to be really cool. I can't wait for that thing to come out. But with this iPad, it has held up very well, especially considering the fact we have the new iPad 10th generation and the new M2 iPad Pros. So this iPad, from its predecessor, the iPad Air 4, it didn't really bring anything crazy, externally. It's pretty much the same build quality, same Apple Pencil support. It's the only two Apple Pencils right now. Same exact, cameras for the most part. Realistically speaking, everything was identically the same except for the internals. And this is where Apple kind of ended up, bringing some improvements here. So I will say the, front camera ended up getting that ultra wide front camera, which was nice. It had center stage, which was really cool. But the main difference here was that M1 chipset that Apple ended up bringing with this device. Now, you have to remember, when Apple made the M1 MacBook Pro and the M1 MacBook Air in the later part of 2020, that was one of the craziest things, and just development of that chipset was insane because it ended up being so much better than what a lot of people expected. So Apple bringing that into the iPad Pros ended up kind of upping the iPad Pro value and making that iPad seem way better than just, a normal iPad that had the Apple 8 chipset. Same exact thought process happened with the iPad Air. The fact that they went from that A14 to that M1 chipset now has given this iPad a new, breath of light. And also, this is completely shifted and completely created a new value of these iPad Airs, especially when compared to the iPad 10th generation. Although I don't like how Apple, kind of increased the price tags of the iPad 10, I do like how there's a little bit more competition between the iPad 10 and the iPad Air 5. If you're going from that iPad 10 at $449 to the iPad Air 5 at this, price tag that it is now, and it's even cheaper in the used market, well, you are definitely getting a better iPad for sure that has the same chipset inside as, an actual MacBook that a lot of people raved about. So I think that in and of itself is also a really cool thing as well. Now these iPads, the iPad Air 5 starts at $599. They've gone down in price tag a little bit in the used market as well. So the fact that this thing has been out for about, I would say 7-8 months now, maybe a little bit less or more, around that time frame, I will say it's held up very, very well. A lot of people who've bought this iPad have basically raved about it. As I mentioned before, the iPad 10th is probably the thing that's changed the most in the last few months, probably since these things came out. And I think a majority of people are probably going to end up jumping up to the iPad Air 5, mostly because it's just a way better iPad than the iPad 10. So it's not that much more expensive, but it is that much better of a device. So personally, I'd love to hear your thoughts about how this iPad's held up the last few years or last, few months. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.